This story appears in the Masnavi of Jalaluddin Rumi, the great Sufi master of the East. In Rumi's stories, profound mystical wisdom is always hidden beneath the surface. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel so you do not miss videos like this. You can support us by liking video and leaving the comment. Let us begin. Once, a merchant owned a parrot. It was a beautiful bird, imprisoned within a cage. One day, the merchant began preparing for a journey to India. He asked each of his slaves and concubines individually, "What shall I bring you from India? What do you wish for?" Each of them requested something different. Then the merchant turned to his parrot and asked, "Oh, my beautiful bird, what shall I bring for you? What do you wish from India?" The parrot replied, "When you see the parrots there, explain my situation to them and say, 'A certain parrot is my prisoner. I keep it in a cage. It sends you its greetings. Is it fair that I languish in distress, longing for you inside a cage in foreign lands, while you fly freely among the trees and rocks? At least remember this poor, lonely soul at dawn, so that I may find a fleeting moment of happiness. Say this, I wish for nothing else." The merchant prepared his caravan and set off on his journey. He traveled for days and nights and finally arrived in India. Along the way, he saw a few parrots perched on the rocks, waiting. He stopped his horse and called out, "I am such and such a person from such and such a land, and I have come here for trade. I have a parrot. It sent you its greetings and asked me to convey these words." As soon as the merchant finished his words, one of those parrots trembled, gasped for breath, fell down, and died. The merchant deeply regretted his words, thinking, "What have I done? I have caused the death of this poor bird. Surely, this must have been a relative or a dear loved one of my poor bird." A long time passed. The merchant finished his trading and returned to his homeland. He handed everyone what they had requested, one by one. The parrot, watching all this from its cage, could eventually bear it no longer and asked the merchant, "Where is my request? Did you see my kin, the flock of parrots? Tell me what you said and what you saw. Make me happy too." The merchant replied, "My dear bird, forgive me, but I believe it is better if I do not tell you, because I am still grieving over the ignorance I showed by carrying that foolish message. It would be better if I do not recount what happened." The parrot insisted. Upon its persistence, the merchant reluctantly narrated the events. "When I arrived at the place you described and saw your parrot friends, I conveyed your words and greetings. One of them could not bear it. It grieved, trembled, became motionless, and finally died. I felt deep regret for this, but it was in vain. The words had already left my mouth." Listening to the merchant's words, the parrot inside the cage began to tremble, became motionless, and a moment later fell down and died. Seeing this, the man lost his mind. He began to weep and wail, throwing his turban to the ground. "Oh, my sweet-voiced bird, what has happened to you? Why did you fall into this state? What have I done? What trouble have I brought upon myself?" he lamented. He cried and sang elegies. Finally, he took the dead parrot out of the cage and placed it by the windowsill. The moment he left it there, the parrot instantly came to life, flew up, and perched on a high branch of a tree in the garden. The merchant was astonished and could not help but ask, "Oh, beautiful bird, what kind of state is this? Tell me, how did you learn this trick and deceive me?" The parrot called out from the branch where it perched, "My dear master, when that parrot you saw in India received my greetings, it pretended to fall and die, thereby sending me a message. It meant, if you wish to be free, die. And as you see, by doing what it suggested, I freed myself from imprisonment. In short, I died and was delivered from being held captive in cages. Every story carries a lesson, and this one is no exception. In this story, the soul parrot, imprisoned within the cage of the body, searches for ways to escape this confinement. It sends a message and greetings to its companions in India to ask for their help. The wise, enlightened parrots in India convey that the path to this liberation is to die before you die. Receiving tidings from its homeland and its true essence, the soul parrot falls to the ground, surrenders its life, and thus attains its origin, its truth, and its ultimate freedom. In this allegory, the caged parrot represents the sublime soul of the human being, doomed to the prison of the physical body. The way to escape this prison is for the ego to die before the physical body does. The death mentioned here is not actual physical death, but rather the death of the nafs, the death of bodily desires, ambitions, and worldly cravings. Thus, the core spirit of this story is shaped by the divine soul bird, which constantly flutters between the beginning and the end, experiencing a profound attraction and an eager longing to spread its wings back toward the source from which it was severed